My name is Jeremy Hancock. This is the fifth in a series of videos which aim to explain the user experience of OneDrive and also SharePoint sites in Office 365. This video follows on from the series about using OneDrive for Business. OneDrive for Business is great for managing and organizing files that are specific to you as an individual, and also is good for uncontrolled documents, so things like draft documents or your own personal notes, possibly letters, presentations, things that don't really need to be shared with everybody in the business. But what happens if you've got documents that do need to be shared and controlled? So examples of those might be policies and procedures, contracts, project plans, financial documents, sales documents, and so on. The best place for those is Office 365 sites inside document libraries, which is SharePoint. In the OneDrive for Business videos, we went ahead and created a proposal document, and we collaborated with somebody outside our organization. That document's now finished and we're not sharing it with anybody outside anymore, and really now it needs to go into our shared library inside of SharePoint. In Office 365 I've gone to Sites. I have a site called Documents and I'm following that site, so I can just open that. And inside my Documents site I've got a library called Proposals. So this looks a little bit similar to your OneDrive for Business. There's a few things to notice though. I've added some extra columns to my library. So I've got a company name, a contact name, a country, and who prepared the document, as well as the value of the proposal. This is called metadata, and this is used to help organize and find information. So one example of that is I could filter the documents in this library. Now there's not many documents for this demonstration, but obviously if there was a lot of documents, the filtering would really come into its own. So I could say that I want to filter for all the documents relating to W company, and you can see that it automatically filters it down. Another benefit of metadata is the ability to find your documents through this search box here. So let's say that I was looking for something again relating to W company, and there it is. I could also look for a country, so now I can see all the documents with United in the country, and of course I could search for the document name as well. Another use of metadata is the ability to create views in your library. So this is just a flat view of all the documents, but what if I wanted to see all of the documents sorted and categorized by country, and I wanted to see the total value of all my proposals for each country? Well, I've created a view called by country. If I click on that, you'll see all of the documents have been rolled up. I can see there's 2 documents for Australia, 2 for the United States, and 1 for United Kingdom. And if I expand one of those, we can see the total value for all of the proposals by country. Now there are a lot more features in SharePoint that I could talk about, but this is intended just to give you a very high level introduction to storing your documents in SharePoint. Okay, so let's say that I've finished my proposal and I now want to add it to this library. The easiest way for me to do that is to go into Explorer, into my OneDrive for Business that's synced to my local machine, and now I can grab that proposal and I can just drag it across onto my browser and put it into the library. So I need to fill in the metadata for this document. Now you can force people to fill in metadata, but I haven't enabled that for this demonstration. So if I just go to the properties for this document, I can give it a title. One thing you'll notice with these columns is that they have different data types. So the prepared by is actually a person column. So as I start to type in there, it'll go and find a list of people that match what you're typing. And I've made the country a drop-down list. So let's say this one is for Canada. When I save it, you'll see that information is now in the list, and if I went to my by country view again, you'd see that Canada is now in that view. So I've now shared my document and stored it in a library that the organization can access, and all of our proposals are together and able to be accessed by anybody that has the appropriate permissions. So what's the other way that I can get to this library? We've gone through the browser and navigated to the library. When I open one of the Microsoft Office applications, in this case I'm using Office 2016, but it'd be a very similar experience in 2013, I can click on Sites and find the Proposals library, and then from within the Proposals library I'll be able to select the document that I want to edit or view and open it directly from Microsoft Office. So then if I've got the permissions, I can go and edit this document, and save it, and it will go straight back into the SharePoint library. Okay, next we're going to have a look at what this looks like on some of my other devices, just to show that SharePoint is accessible no matter where you are and what device you're on, as long as you've got connectivity available. So let's say that I'm away from my desk now and away from my PC, but I've got my iPad with me and I've got internet connectivity. If I open Safari and go to the SharePoint site, you can see that I've got a mobile view of SharePoint. Now I can switch to the PC view, and that would show me the same as I normally see on the browser, and if I click on the gear icon up here, I can go back to the mobile view. So in my mobile view I can open up my library and view my documents. So I could go and open up my document. By default it will open in Word Online, which is still in the browser, and I could just view it in there if I want to. I can still edit it much as the same way I did in the OneDrive for Business demonstration. I can either open it in Word on the iPad, or I can just edit it using Word Online. So in the mobile view I don't get to see all of the metadata that I showed you previously, but I could view that if I just switch back to the PC view. And once I've done that, then I can go and look at my views by country, for example. And just notice in the top right hand corner here there's an icon which allows you to focus on the content, and it just removes all of the navigation so that you can really just drill into what it is that you're looking for. The other way to access SharePoint is directly from the Office applications once again. So if I open up Word on the iPad, click on SharePoint, click on the SharePoint site, I can see proposals are there, and again I can open up a document directly from SharePoint inside of Microsoft Word. So we get a pretty good experience on the iPad. Let's have a look at the Windows Phone and see what happens there. So this is my little Nokia 620 Windows Phone. I've opened up the browser and I've gone to the SharePoint site, and once again you can see that I've got a mobile view. Now the experience that I showed you previously on the iPad would be very similar on the iPhone, but obviously a bit smaller. And on the Windows Phone I can go to my Proposals library, get a list of my documents, view a document. As per my OneDrive for Business demonstration, the client on the Windows Phone isn't as good as the ones on the iOS or Android devices. At the moment I wouldn't be able to edit the content with this version of the Windows Phone. I'm expecting that's going to change pretty shortly with the advent of Windows 10. I could also switch to the PC view again if I wanted to, but that's going to be pretty hard to see on this tiny screen on the 620. I could zoom in, but I'm not sure how practical that's going to be. I could also focus on just the content. This does, however, show that you can still access your content if you really need to on your smaller phone devices. The experience on the Apple Mac is very similar to Windows. I've just opened my Safari browser and I'm in OneDrive for Business. You saw us previously work on the document in the Mac. If I open the SharePoint site, I can open my document library, see my views, see all my metadata, and edit the documents much in the same way as I did in the Windows environment. I can even drag a new proposal into the library from Finder. This time when I edit the metadata, I'll try it using a different view. You can do this in Windows as well, but I can just click on Quick Edit and edit it as if it was a spreadsheet. I can still look up the username and still choose from the drop-down list. Now if I switch to my by country view, we'll see a new document appearing sorted and categorized under the country. If I open Microsoft Word on the Mac and choose Open and SharePoint, choose my site, and then I can see my proposal library. I can see my list of documents including the one that I just uploaded, and then I can open the document and edit it as normal. So using the Mac there's no real disadvantage. I still get a really good user experience with SharePoint. In summary, whether you're using OneDrive for Business or Office 365, you can get a great experience no matter what device you're using. So the best thing to do if you've got access to OneDrive for Business and Office 365 SharePoint sites is to give it a try with your own devices. Thanks for watching.